In this video, I want to talk to you all about how to build a cash flow positive property business without owning any property. This might sound wild, but every property can generate anywhere between $25,000, $80,000, upwards of $100,000. And this is all without owning the property itself. You're able to control millions of dollars worth of assets legally, ethically, and profit from this incredibly well with a simple strategy. In this video, I'm going to dive into exactly what that strategy is and how it's changed my life. So essentially, to kick things off, I wanted to give you some context so you understand where I'm coming from when I speak about cash flow first in a lot of situations. I just want to give some extra context around why exactly this model can change people's lives in a matter of months. When I was working for one of the biggest property investment companies in Australia, we were helping people build residential property portfolios that were all negatively geared. They were all incredibly profitable when it comes to the capital growth, but they saw a lot of people get stuck. One day I was in the same boat. I ate it up. When I was entering this world of property and investing, I just wanted to have a property portfolio worth 10 million, 15 million, $20 million, just like all the people I looked up to. They seemed to have financial freedom, businesses, and ways that they could actually look after their family. And so I began this journey of pursuing exactly what they had and trying to walk in their footsteps to achieve what they did. I read all the books, I listened to all the podcasts, I really tried to dial in and understand exactly how they did it so I could do it as well. Now, getting into this world, I realized that people's situations and where they start is incredibly different. Not everybody is in the same position, and very often the people that are at the top started in a much different position than the everyday Australian. However, they speak and try and get the everyday Australian to emulate exactly what they did. But here's the catch. To build a property portfolio, you need to have your income grow as well as the capital that the properties are producing. Now, what do I mean by that? You just need to get paid more. That could be from a salary, reducing debt, and things like car loans. At the end of the day, you need more cash, more moolah coming in. And for a lot of people in established careers, that happens, but it's not like leaps and bounds, like switching careers or when you and your partner join forces to make more income. It's in drips and drabs, often linked to CPI and very slow pay rises. And so what that means for a lot of people is they hit a glass ceiling very early on. And this can look like one home that you live in and one personal place of residence. One personal place of residence and one investment property, and then you're done. Banks turn off the tap to debt and you are stuck. If you rent and invest, you can maybe squeeze out one or two more. However, you eventually reach the same ceiling. Now, this is exactly the situation my family found ourselves in. We hit a glass ceiling. And I remember having one of the most anticipated sit downs with this multi-millionaire property guru, portfolio builder genius. And I was so excited for this meeting because he was going to show me the way. He was going to show me how to do it. Justin, easy fix. Do this, do that. This is what we're going to do. I remember putting all of my details into the software that they use so they can see the back end, look at the cash flow, look at the capital growth, plan out the strategy. It was a strategy session. In that meeting, it was over so quickly. And the reason being, for a simple fact, Justin, you do not earn enough. And that cut because I was like, well, how did you do it? You have a property portfolio worth $20 million. To buy our third property, we currently had Two daughters, so it was single income, two kids, running a family just as a responsible person would do. And essentially, what we hit was the fact that my salary needed to be up above $200,000 a year in order to service the debt of a third property. And I thought, well, okay, fantastic. What about the next one? How much would my salary need to grow past plus 200K to actually achieve another property? And how much stress would I be in if something happened for me to service those loans? And I asked the question, how did you do it? You started much earlier, did things differently? And the answer was yes. The income was incredibly high, double income, no kids, property market very different. It was pre-boom across Australia. There was different circumstances. So essentially it was this perfect storm for building a property portfolio my then mentor found themselves in. But the season had changed and I was in a very different season, which required a different strategy. What I wanted to communicate very clearly is that every season is different in the property industry. And every season requires a slightly different strategy. The reason why cash flow and rent to rent is number one when it comes to getting started, scaling, or continuing to grow past that glass ceiling is because you're looking at a recession-proof business. You're providing a roof over someone's head in different strategies. Some require no money down, some require between $10,000 and $35,000. You can start immediately. You do not have to have any properties to get started. You can actually get started with different no money down techniques and strategies. Everything that I cover is in AnchorPoint Academy. And this is where you will find strategies where you can start with zero money. Like, I mean, nothing. Zero. A lot of people say no money down. They actually mean 5K. I'm talking nothing. All the way up to starting with 5K. Now, if you look at that in the grand scheme of things, that is nothing compared to starting the journey, needing $125,000 in capital for a deposit. This is nothing, but the cash flow is incredibly high. This is the strategy that allows people to replace their incomes, buy back time with their families. That is why it is so impressive, and I have implemented it and love it so much. This is really what changes people's lives. Capital growth does not change your life. You cannot go out and buy a new car with capital growth. Sure, you can take equity out and buy it with debt using your mortgage. That doesn't count because you're still paying for it with your income from your job. What I'm talking about is the ability to define your success, define your level of enough, reduce your stress, have the money that you need to be financially free just with a handful of properties using this rent to rent model, and live the life you want to live without needing to wait 10, 15, 30 years for your capital to grow, for you to retire and eventually use that income. You can use this money now, today, as soon as you'd like. It's real and tangible. You can buy your milk, your eggs, your bread from the shop. And that is why rent to rent is so powerful. And they work now way more than ever. If you look at the articles, the Australian government and different people are trying to find different ways to help solve the housing crisis. There's things like Bluefield, there's things like multi-generational homes, there's co-living, there's HMOs. Everybody is looking for a strategy, and oftentimes they require a new build. This is a way to get into the market and have a level of impact investing where you are sustaining somewhere safe, clean, affordable for people to live while getting profit, and the landlord is extremely happy as well. It is a triple win scenario, which never happens in property. This is why the strategy is so important, And if you found this valuable and you want to learn more, please click below, book a call with me and one of my team members, or just join the free community down below. And I've got mini courses. You can check it out and learn more in detail and understand exactly what this strategy is and how it works and how you can get started today.